25 years, like, was there a time that you wanted to walk away?
Oh, many times.
PR involves a lot of storytelling, right?
But storytelling is a way of getting a message out. For me, it has to be authentic.
What has been your biggest lesson in running your own agency?
I always wanted to do that and give myself permission to make sure that I paced myself.
If you're going to have a title for it, what would your headline be?
Endgame.
Hi, I am Melon and co-founder here at the Melrish Studio and founder of Olivia Pearls. We have been telling stories since 2009, but this time we don't just want to tell stories, we want to amplify them. Welcome to the Louder Podcast. Today's guest has been shaping reputations in the Middle East long before PR became a hashtag. She's a quiet force behind some of the region's biggest brands, tech giants, sustainability champions, and entrepreneurs who dare to build. Mita Srinivasan isn't just a PR strategist, she's a storyteller, a mentor, a connector who believes credibility will always outshine hype. Founder of Market Buzz International, board member of MMA MENA, and champion for women-led businesses through Thai Dubai and Female Fusion, Mita has spent 30 years amplifying brand stories and other brands and other people's stories. But today, we're flipping the script and amplifying her story today. Hello, Mita.
I love that introduction.
I have to practice more.
Who wrote it?
ChatGPT.
God bless ChatGPT.
I know.
I love it.
But
Love
I
it.
had to program ChatGPT.
Sometimes they actually go a little bit overboard. Then I have to slap his wrist a little bit.
We've been together. Me and ChatGPT have been together for 2 years now. So it knows the voice. But sometimes it's like, okay, weird. That's weird. No, that's not. That doesn't sound weird. But this is
Exactly.
okay.
That's exactly the conversation I have. It's like, hello, what's wrong with you today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Like,
Hello, bring me
yeah,
over.
like, this is me. It's Melon. Because sometimes I have to enter someone else's voice, like we're doing a brand.
Also, I have separate GPTs for those.
Oh, you have not the same account.
No, same account, but in the same account you can
Yes,
create,
exactly, yes.
custom GPTs, right? So I've got custom GPTs which has got all of their documents, their voices, their links, everything in there. So then I just go into that chat GPT if I want something on that particular account.
Oh, I just have
So
different.
the main one is me.
Yes, these are the oh no, this is I have new chats for everything and new folders for everything.
Yeah, so for projects is different, but custom GPT is different.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I just have them in different folders though.
So custom GPTs can be there, but you'll be able to access it in normally as well, but it's under each one. So what happens, it accesses specific. So I have their profiles of the clients, I have the
because they have
the spokesperson's bios, their LinkedIn profiles.
Because they have it should be in their voices.
As and when we do press releases and other stuff and content and feature contributions, it all goes into that same GPT. So it has a repository of stuff that we can talk about.
You're the one who also taught me about like HubSpot. I've been paying Calendly, like we're gonna delete plan.
Why? And you can keep track because it immediately creates the CRM to it.
Exactly, yeah. Today's guest has been shaping reputations in the Middle East long before PR became a hashtag. She's the quiet force behind reputable brands, tech giants, sustainability champions, and entrepreneurs who dare to build. Mita Srinivasan isn't just a PR strategist. She's a storyteller, a mentor, a connector who believes credibility outshines the hype. Founder of Market Buzz International, board member of MMA MENA, I have to say all of this, and champion for women-led businesses through Thai Dubai and Female Fusion. Mita has spent whopping 30 years amplifying other people's stories. But today, we're flipping the mic and it's time for her voice to be turned up. And this is the story that has not been told yet. I hope so, because she's had a lot of guestings in other podcasts. But let's see what she can share today in our Louder podcast. Welcome, Mita.
Thank you for having me. I feel very privileged.
30 years.
Makes me feel old.
No, you're a heavyweight in the PR industry. What pulled you into this world of PR?
Accident. Yeah, it's a entrepreneurial accident. I was working in media. I was working for a guy who was running a media company in the technology world because you know how much of a geek I am. I love my technology. And I was working with him and we were writing the magazine, I was doing the articles, doing the stories. And then I started realizing that a lot of the people that I was interviewing or writing the stories for didn't have material ready that I could use, that I could leverage as media person. So obviously I wasn't not the only media person in that problem. So I used to sometimes help them with that. And then I started realizing that there was a niche area, a segment, where there were a lot of these smaller businesses. Sometimes they were not necessarily small. I mean, they were big international clients, but they had a very small operation here in the Middle East. And we're talking 30 years ago. So it's it's a long time ago. So they needed somebody who would understand the way and in 30 years, the technology landscape and the way it was working here is very different from what it is now in a lot of ways. People are more aware of technology now. They were not that aware of technology and what it can do and what it can't do. There were only a few handful of names. So a lot of these smaller guys needed help. So I started doing that. And my boss at the time, the guy who ran the media business, it's not a small business, but CPI was quite a big company. He said to me, he said, okay, you know what? You started off, go and do this. Once it's up and running, the business, then you can go and work full time there. So I was working with him and I was running my little business. So that's how the PR business started. Because I wanted to help these businesses make the most of some of the contents and the stories they had, but not just with my media, but other media guys that they wanted as well. And so slowly from there, I started building up a media PR business, basically.
PR involves a lot of storytelling, right?
But storytelling is a way of getting a message out. Yes, there is storytelling is very much a part of it. For me, it has to be authentic. It has to be rooted in reality, in facts. It can't be. It's not PR in the way that people talk about, like the ones you see on the TV or on script or in politics or anything else, where people can just hype up something that is already there. For me, that's why I probably stay with business to business media. For business is that I need to have it rooted in facts. I need to be able to talk and amplify the voices and the stories of things that they're doing, and milestones they're achieving. And these days, you have so many other tools, like you have the videos, you have TikToks, you have Reels, you have Instagram, you have Facebook stories, you have LinkedIn posts, you have newsletters, you have blog posts. There's so many options, podcasts like this one. This is storytelling too. So these are all different newer tools that we have. When I started the business, all we had was press releases and that was it.
What was the turning point when you realized this is my calling? Storytelling and PR is my calling. Was there a turning point? When did you realize this is
when I was forced to start up and do my own business? I got thrown off the deep end. As I said, I got thrown off the deep end. Actually, slightly amendment to the story. I was offered a job to do the internal PR and communications for a big tech company. And I went to my boss and I said, I want to go and join, so I need a letter of recommendation. And that's when he turned around and said to me, in a way, he was also the one that noticed the gap in the market. He says, don't be silly. You should be working for yourself. And so he literally pushed me into becoming an entrepreneur. So that was my thing. But PR is because I love storytelling. I love writing. I love putting together an article or a pitch or a story that has to have some element of news as well. And so I realized that I had a knack. And I could see opportunities. I could see a story or recognize an opportunity or a story when somebody didn't. I could probably sit down with you and tell you about 5 different things that would make really good PR for you, beyond what people think is marketing and away from what is marketing. It's not necessarily marketing. Marketing is an element of what the PR and reputation management is, but there's so many different opportunities that we miss out on. of stuff that we do, things we do that we, for our business, that nobody gets to hear about. I'm very bad at doing my own PR though.
I think we're a little bit of that. Like what you said, like we're good at helping others, but sometimes we're not good helping ourselves.
Which is why you need a PR agency.
I think so too. Talk to us about the young storyteller, the young Mita storyteller. How did you get this? Is this something that you developed when you were younger, or is this something that you studied?
So, no, this actually happened over time. When I started working with this publishing house and I started doing that, I started researching ideas and stories and how to actually compose the stories. So, I started realizing that I had a good knack for it. And so, I never had formal training, it was more trial and error and a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading, a lot of research to see what people are writing about, how are they writing about, what are the different angles that people are taking, what would interest. It's one of the reasons why I have pretty decent relationships with a lot of media guys is because I try and give them a story that I know that they would be interested in. So which means that I need to see what they're writing about. What are they writing about? What is interesting them? Because they're writing what is interesting to their readers, right? If it's not interesting to their readers, why would they write about it at the end of the day, right? It is an interesting story, but if it's of no interest to anyone else, why would they write about it? So you have to give them a story that you think they would be interested to write about.
Interesting. Now, what makes a story interesting?
It needs to have a really good headline and something that resonates with what is happening today. So, for example, if I'm writing to a technology magazine, it has to be maybe a new product or a new element of the product. Or it has to be solving a problem that will be of interest to anybody who's reading that particular magazine or that particular industry. If you're looking at a business to business story, it needs to have the business angle. You know, how much money is it going to save? Is it going to be cheaper than something you do? Is it going to save you hours? Is it going to save you resources? That's what makes a really good story from a B2B perspective, because I work mostly with businesses that do business with other businesses. So we work with a lot of vertical sector media. And so the angles are very different from each one. So if I'm looking at a technology client, then I want to see how does that work in? What is the different segments that they're looking at? Is it a government sector? So if a government client wants to talk about this particular thing, what would he be interested in? So I make sure that that story has those elements in it. Okay. If I had to do PR for you, for example, what problem are you solving? You're making it easy for somebody who has no clue where to start about creating content. They come to you and come to you. So you're solving a problem. How are you solving it? What makes you different from everybody else that's out there in the market? That's a story.
Did someone come to you and say, Mita, I need your PR help, but I don't have a story?
So you sit and have a conversation with them. So what I do is I have a briefing document which they have to fill in. And when they're doing that, the idea with that particular document is for them to be able to really think about their business. You know, what are they looking for? What do they want to get with? At the end of the day, it has to relate back to the business and why they are in business. And that's a story. Or things that they're milestones that they have it. So, for example, they have a new customer that is a really interesting angle for their application for their own business. Someone who's using videos for doing something completely different with their business. That's an interesting angle. A new industry that's traditionally never seen. Like when we took you to the engineering company, who in engineering uses video and thing these days, right? It's a boring spare parts engineering company. But it was an application for you, right? Which I went there and said, this is a good way for you to tell your stories, because they have to relate to the next generation. To the next generation, not just of business owners and business potential customers, but potential employees that they'll be working with. Because this is where the next generation is, the next audience is. So we need to make sure that we're related to them. So at the end of the day, any story that relates to another human being, whether it's for business or personal, is a story to be told. And for me, it's about conversations and making sure I get that story out.
How long does these conversations before you can dig someone? Like some people think their businesses are boring. Like you said, the engineering one. Some people think that their business is boring. Sometimes I think some businesses are boring. But how long does this conversation to dig out what's interesting in them? How long does this normally take? And does this require a lot of digging, or how about businesses without founders? I mean, like they have founders, but you know that they have lost their story as because it has been passed on.
Interesting that you should say that because yesterday, or day before yesterday, not yesterday, yeah, day before yesterday, I was sitting with the founder of Jackie's. Jackie's is one of my clients. This man he founded it when he was 18 years old in Hong Kong. He still comes in on a daily basis. He's not hands on in the business completely. His sons and his nephews and his grandchildren, others are looking after different generations, are now taking over and running it. But it was very interesting that I was having a conversation with him because they're celebrating 55 years of being in business. That's a long time to be in business. And I was asking him, what does it mean? So it's a story of him telling me how he had to move away to let others come in, to get the next generation come in, the next generation to bring new ideas in. So that's still a story. So yeah, so the founders in those businesses that are there, I think always a story of any company starts with the founder because they had a vision and they still have a vision of how they want it to go and where they want it to go. And a really good entrepreneur will have a very good management team that understands the business, that understands where that business is going, what makes them unique. And what may be boring sometimes for you and me may be interesting to them, but you need to find out why is it interesting to them. And that's the story you need to tell. You need to also tell them why when it's not interesting and it's really boring.
You sometimes tell it to their face. That's not interesting.
Yeah, I do. But I say that I think a PR agency or a PR person has to be devil's advocate. Because you've got to do so. For example, if a client is doing something that I think may not be good for them, because at the end of the day, PR is about reputation. Managing your reputation, managing a business's reputation, right? If I think it might be wrong or it might resonate wrongly with somebody else, I will tell them. Because I feel that is what I'm being paid for as a consultant, is to tell them so they don't make the mistake. That they listen to it and maybe adjust a product, a service, a message, whether it's on video or on an ad or in a flyer or in a newsletter. It needs to be adjusted to based on the customers and whoever they're writing to.
Is there some resistance? Like, do you get surprise faces? Like,
no. I'll tell you why I didn't know. Because most of the clients I work, I'm very particular about who I work with. The clients I work with, I tell them right up front. There are two things that they're going to hear from me. Is they will hear no's from me, which means because I will tell them, but I will not just say no. It's a bit like when you're with smaller children. You say no, but you tell them why. But I also give them an option of what they can do instead as well. But also, I also bully my clients. For simple reason, I have media who have deadlines, who have things they need to do. Then I need to make sure they give me the material because they need to give me the material. I can't make things up out of thin air. So yeah, so the clients I work with, they're never surprised because they know that's what they're going to get when they buy me, when they get me.
So let's now talk about Market Buzz International. Which you said like it started from an accident.
Yeah.
And how it's now 30 years. The Market Buzz.
2001, 25.
25. What has been your biggest lesson in running your own agency or building your own agency so far in that 25 years? And congratulations, 25 years. That's a big feat.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, it's been 25 years. What's the biggest lesson? That you need to find a balance right from the beginning. A lot of people that start their own businesses think that they have to work at it 24/7. I never did, to be honest. I still don't. Well, you don't completely give up, but you give yourself time to be able to rest, relax, recuperate, so you can come back renewed. I always wanted to do that and give myself permission to make sure that I paced myself. That was one of the biggest lessons I learned is self-care. I told myself as well. The other thing I learned is that it can be a bit tricky sometimes managing your resources when you're a small business. People tend to take you for granted, and that not a lot of that has changed much. It's still there. Um, but I try and be. I learn to say no. These are the couple of things that I've learned how to say no to new things that I think that are not going to be a good fit for me.
That's your biggest lesson, right? Like
Yes,
learning to say no.
learning to say no, learning to self care, pace yourself.
Yeah. But was there a time, because 25 years, like was there a time that you wanted to walk away?
Oh, many times. Many times. I tell you, my first client, big client that I had, was a company called AMD. It's quite a big brand, international brand of chips. And he was a personal friend of mine who was in charge of this region. And when he left, a guy who took over, I had a major personality clash with them. And in those days, we were doing quite a huge billing with them. I think that was when I learned that no was a good idea, because for a long time I felt he was holding up back on, and they had massive payments. And that's when I turned around and said, no, I have to stop. It took me a while to get all my payments out of them, but you had to just walk away, which means that you had to press a reset button and almost reset, because it was almost 50 to 60% of my business.
Wow. Was it tough for you? Like,
Huge, yeah. So quite often that would be so tough. I thought, you know what? Maybe I should just close it down and walk away. But I had already had one employee, and I said, oh, somebody is relying on me for their salary. I can't just walk away from this. I have responsibility.
that requires a lot of strength.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you get that strength from?
I have no idea. I think it's from my network around me, from people. I do have a few people that I rely on who I can vent with. And that's very important for you. You need to have your support system. My family would never understand, because none of them, especially the women, none of them have got businesses. So they don't have no idea what this is about. My brother, God rest his soul, he was quite a big strength for me for a long time. He died of cancer a few years ago.
A few days ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. It's life, isn't it? But yeah, so he was a big source of strength for me. I used to call him my Jiminy Cricket. He would tell me when I was going astray or something I was going to do that was going to backfire. He could see it coming. He had a very practical head. I have a little bit more head in the clouds.
Keeps you grounded.
Yeah, he kept me grounded.
So sorry to hear that. Where do you then see yourself getting strength from? I know it's gonna be hard, but because he was your
So now I still try and surround myself with people I feel this thing. So female fusion is a massive help for me. If I need to vent something, at least I know they're there. I talk to Jen quite often. I give Jen my support when I can. I have a few people that I know that I trust, but they're not that many. But there are a few that I have a conversation with, that I know. My brother's widow is still with me, so she and I get along really well. She doesn't understand anything about business, so it doesn't matter. But mentally, she's very sweet and very supportive.
25 years as the founder of Market Buzz International, where do you think you will take your company forward?
That's very interesting, because I think I need to start looking at the next generation to come in. I don't have anyone in my family that'd be interested in this. So I need to look at maybe other people that might want to join the whole thing as a practice and see if they can, take over from when I leave. So I'll be honest with you, I haven't actually given it a huge amount of thought, because it's been ticking over for quite some time. But hopefully something will come through, and that we will get the next generation to be interested in coming in. My grandson says he wants to be, but who knows? He's only 14.
Oh, he's only 14.
He told me don't do anything until I turn 18. So I was like, okay.
You mentioned that most of the women in your family they don't have the business acumen that you have.
They probably have. They
They
probably have
they
business acumen. They run very successful households, so I guess they have their
okay,
acumen,
but they
right?
haven't run any
None.
business yet. Yeah, I mean, like none so far. But you mentor a lot of women now, especially in female fusion in Thai Dubai. You
Yeah.
mentor a lot of women in this industry. What do you think? Thinking about the women that you mentor, what is one thing that you think what's the most common advice do you give them?
Probably empathy is a very good one because it's one of the things that I have a family of very strong women, extremely strong women. So they've given me the strength to be able to understand it. So even if they don't understand the specifics of any of the challenges I have. So I won't when I mentor somebody, I want to be able to understand not just what the problem is, because that's just a symptom. I want to understand a wider way of what is it that's holding them back, kind of sometimes. And also, sometimes it's as an outsider, you can see something that somebody who's in the middle of that crisis can't unsee it. So if I'm sitting here and, as you said, how do you get a story out from someone? You're running a business. You can't see the story opportunities, but because I'm in PR and I come from the outside and I'm seeing from the outside, I can spot elements where I think, yeah, this is a good story. This is a good story. This is something you should be talking about. This is something you should be doing. From your side, you can, I think, I know there are people who turn and look at me and think, well, you know what? You should be doing this. You should be doing this. And quite often I listen to it and I think, hang on a minute, that's quite an interesting element, an angle that I do. So I try when I'm mentoring them, I try and keep an open mind about something. I'm not judgmental. I want to make sure they have empathy to be able to understand where they're coming from, but be able to understand it from their point of view as much as possible, but also add my outside element to them to say, from the looking outside, looking in, it gives you a different perspective of the whole problem. And sometimes that helps to find a solution.
You've been building reputations, help of big tech giants and women who have small businesses. What is the difference
No
between
difference.
no difference?
No different. It's a business. It's just who the main key is. This is my business. This is the problem I'm solving. This is what I'm offering. This is my target market. So the strategy to market, the actual elements might differ. They might be media, they might be social, maybe something else. But the storytelling angles will not be the same, will not change that much. I still will have a look and say, ask them the same questions. Who's your target audience? If you're doing this, for example, when I talk about, say, if you're doing, say, videography and you want to look into people, if you want to add to the business angle, you get to say, you're talking to the businessman who has no time to do this. They have marketing agencies who don't have time to do this. Here's what video can do for you. This is what creating online and social media content can do for you. This is what we can offer you. It offloads the thing. And that's a story in itself to talk about things. We can create opinion pieces, create blog posts that help to educate. It's one of the reasons why I do my weekly blog and my newsletter to share that with people. I like sharing. You know me. I love sharing with people and letting them have access to everything because it's how you use it, isn't it?
How do you balance hype and honesty? Because nowadays PR can sometimes have
Yeah.
a bad rap, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're fixing something that's meant to be shared, because stories can be honest, but stories can have hype as well.
Yeah.
How do you balance it?
I just leave out all the hype. I cancel all the hype. Actually, one of the reasons I can proudly say a lot of the media that I do business with or work with or reach out to, they know I won't give them hype for the sake of hype. I don't play with hype at all. I'm very much down to earth. I want to make sure that it's rooted in saying, because this is social media. You put hype out there, someone's going to find out what the real truth is. And that is more damaging to your reputation than being authentic and being credible. It's about trust. People do business with people they trust, with a brand they trust. If you are hyping stuff up on a regular basis, how are they going to trust you?
Have you walked away from
Oh, yeah.
a project that wanted hype?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you validate this? You know, I do research online and as everybody else does, we use ChatGPT. He comes back with some numbers. I was like, okay, verify this for me. I need to verify it. If it's not verified, there's no point, right?
Correct. Yes. So how did it feel when you walked away, like from that project?
Relief. Relief. Because remember, it's not only their reputation, but it's also my reputation. When I send something out to a media, guys, I'm not bragging here, okay? But seriously, most of the media guys that I send it out to know me well enough to know that if I've done something, I've done enough vetting to make sure that I send to them the stuff that I've already vetted. They're definitely going to vet us. And that's one of the things I tell my clients. Just hyping something up is of no use because the editor's going to go and vet for it. They're not going to regurgitate whatever you send them. These are sensible people. These are people who do this for a living. So, yeah, no, I walk away. It's a relief always to walk away.
Did they find, just curious, did they find someone else to do it?
I don't know, and I don't
I did
care.
not check. You know, like who's in this PR agency?
You should just say, good luck with it. Please have fun. I'm sorry, this is not me. It's not something that...
But did you tell them to their face, this is hype, like, don't tell this, like...
I asked them, can you verify this? Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. No, it won't be fine. I will do that. I will say, you know what? Then please find somebody who can do this because I'm not going to do it. I will not put out material that's not verifiable.
I'll pay you double.
I don't care.
Triple.
I actually, you know what I do when I sometimes, sorry, I should probably not put this on a podcast, but if I don't want to work with the client, I have a special price for those guys because that will help chase them away and I get them to walk away from you. Because sometimes your sense of peace and your sense of balance and peace is more important than just the money that comes in from one client.
You have worked with hundreds or thousands of projects now?
Oh, maybe not so many. Yeah, I'm very fussy about who I work with. So I would say in the last 25 years, I've probably worked with about 40 to 50 clients. I'm that fussy.
That fussy.
Actually, some of those clients just stayed on for years and years and years. And then because there's been a personality change or there's been a change in management or somebody's taken over a new company. So then you walk away and get somebody else. But that's about it.
Can you share with us, because you've told many stories, what PR story that until now, whenever you think of it, gives you goosebumps?
Ooh. Cover stories, when I've got any of my clients into cover stories, actually, then that's always been a really good one. I've had a few of those in the past one with, vertical magazines. So those have been quite nice to have. But other than that, no, I can't think of anything that's given me goosebumps yet.
Yeah, maybe
I'm just hard to please.
Yeah, or maybe later you'll be like, oh, yeah, maybe this question caught you off guard.
Quite possibly. You know how it is. Sometimes when you get a question, you go, oh, hang on a minute. No, I don't think I have anything that's given me goosebumps. I've had some very interesting projects. For example, when I was working with AMD, they were one of the sponsors of the Ferrari team. So we used to take people up to Bahrain for their customers up to Bahrain for the Ferrari, for the Grand Prix. We've taken them to Abu Dhabi with the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to Korean. So I used to help manage all of that and coordinates and that. Those were fun things to do. And you go up to the hospitality and stuff like that. Yeah.
It feels good, like
special
rock star.
Yeah, not sure about goosebump it, but yeah, it was fun. I've done some fun stuff.
So that's fun. It is fun. Like front row, and
I remember once we for one season in Bahrain, we had hired a plane for 2 days.
Oh wow, private plane.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because we had about 50 or 60 customers to fly over, so it was cheaper to just hire the plane.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah.
Let me know if you have one of those again. I'll be the behind the scenes content creator. a private
This was
place.
way before video and content creation was such a big section of, see. That's a very important part of PR, by the way, content creation.
Nowadays.
Because it's all part of PR, isn't it? I mean, it's about your storytelling, making sure you have the right angle, making sure you're using the right platforms, because the platforms keep changing. The way you communicate keeps changing. At the end of the day, PR is about reputation management, which means it's public relations. So initially, when 25, 30 years ago when I started, you had to use media quite often. You still use a lot of media there. But these days, because of social media and because of blogs and because of YouTube and content creation, you are talking directly with your customers. So you make sure you are on a platform where the customer is, which means that you have the conversation directly with your customers.
So that has changed drastically, right? Because you've seen how it has evolved through the
exactly.
years.
And how you have to evolve with it because the next generation consumes their information, their news very differently from when we started our business, when I started my business, which was way before you did.
So what is constant? Because you said that is there a concept?
Yes, the constant is definitely the basics, which is the company, the reputation, what it stands for, the key messages, the target audience. Those are key basics that are there for anything you do. It's just what platforms you use, what medium you use, how you tell that story is what's changing.
You have been behind the curtains for so long, and I'm really glad that we're having this conversation. But what made you decide? I don't know if it was recorded a while ago, but like you were telling, like, oh, I'm good at telling everybody else's story, but now I'm really glad you're telling your story now. So, what made the change?
You, I guess, putting me on the spot. Putting me on the spot, I guess that's what's changed. I suppose if somebody is interested, because it's like you say, I don't feel like my story is that interesting. But I guess somebody has to find it interesting enough. But yeah.
I think you're such a
Actually, I
giver.
came
That's
here
why.
thinking I was going to talk about PR more than anything else. Well, we did talk about PR. I didn't know I was going to talk about me.
But it's your story matters. This is what you're telling your clients, right?
Yeah. No, actually, don't. I tell them, I talk to them about their stories. I don't talk about mine.
Yeah, I mean, like their story matters, but
Yeah,
but now
that's
I'm
true.
asking you, what your story matters too, because you're always behind. You have been a power that has been helping a lot of women, especially female fusion. I have attended that clinic,
Yeah.
areas like PR clinic, and
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much.
so I'm just glad you said yes. To this.
Thank
I'm
you for
glad we're
having me.
having this conversation. Yeah. And that's why I was thinking, like, if you have this chapter in your life, because you've been telling stories, other people, other companies, and now looking at the chapter of your life right now, if you're gonna have a title for it, what would your headline be?
Endgame. Yeah.
Why?
I am heading to the end game. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm old. But as long as I'm able and I have a brain and I know I can help people, I'm going to go on doing it.
I love the movie
feel-
Endgame, huh?
I can't see myself just sitting and going away quietly in the sunset.
What's your picture of retirement?
God, no. Sitting at my computer and falling over.
Working still, right? Like, doesn't feel like work for you?
No, it doesn't feel like work. This is it. When you're spending something like 10, 12 hours a day on something, on a working day especially, you have to be doing something you love. If you don't feel the passion for that, why would you be doing it? I don't understand that. You are committing such a large chunk of your life to something. Why would you do it if you don't feel passion for it? And if you feel passion for it, it's not work anymore. Because you want to do it. You want to be the best that you can be, right? And that's what drives me.
It's interesting how you like tell stories of different brands of companies. How about you? what story would you want to be remembered for? Because you mentioned about Endgame, and you know what? Louder, the L in louder stands for legacy. What legacy or what story do you want to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered as the rock for somebody, for them as a person or their business as a thing, as somebody that they were able to come to for anything that they had, any question they had, anything. My grandson says that's who I am for him. He can ask me any question, come to me and tell me anything, and I will listen to him. And I hope that there are enough people out there who will remember me for being genuine, being honest, and as I said, being their rock. That for me would be a really good legacy. I would be happy with that.
So blessed to have you share your story with us, Mita. I'm amplify your story. You're always behind the scenes telling people's story. I'm just thankful that you allowed us to
Record this.
record
Thank you.
this.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy have conversations with you anyway.
Me too. I'm thankful. And that's it for our episode of Louder with Mita. I hope her story has inspired you, and I hope we have amplified her story with justice. Oh, I love you, Mita. So
I love you
thank
too.
you. Thank you so much for letting us do this.